One of my favorite Eric McElvenny stories is Eric, when he first was injured, he received the blue handicap placard for his car. Came in the mail. And he's like, I'm not going to use this. And he threw it away. Well, another one comes in the mail the next year. And he's like, you know what? I'll keep it in the glove box. You never know. Maybe the parking is bad and I'll make use of it. So it's Christmas season, and he's out with his little daughter, and they're shopping at a shopping mall, and jam-packed, no place to park. So Eric's like, what the heck? He pulls out the blue placard, hangs it on the rearview mirror, and gets out of the car. And his daughter's like, Daddy, what is that blue ticket that you just hung on the rearview mirror? He goes, well, honey, because Daddy has only one leg, this allows me to park closer. And his daughter stops. She goes, but Daddy, you have 6 legs. You have a running leg, you have a cycling leg, you have a skiing leg. And Eric at that point decided, you know what? I'm never going to use the placard again. And anytime I race, I'm not signing up as a challenge athlete. I'm signing up in my age division, because if somebody beats me, it's not because of my leg. It's because they were better than me.
You're not just some
That's great.
Isn't that a fun story?
That's a great story.
I was on my way to meet Eric McElvenny, a former US Marine turned Ironman. Eric now focuses a lot of his time touring the US doing motivational talks. Having heard so much about him, I was intrigued to hear his story.
So I don't have to look cool?
No.
All right.
We're done with that.
Good, because that takes effort. My name is Eric McElvenny. I'm a former Marine Corps captain, and I'm now an Ironman athlete. I decided that I wanted to be a Marine when I was growing up. It was a homework assignment that I had to do a career research report, and my dad is the one that suggested looking into the military, and the Marine Corps, just that popped out to me, and I decided I wanted to do that. I ended up going to the United States Naval Academy and selecting Marine Corps out of there, and in 2006 I was commissioned an officer in the United States Marine Corps. I became an infantry officer after about a year of training, and in 2007 I was stationed on Camp Pendleton with my first unit, and we ended up doing 3 deployments, 3 overseas deployments. I did one to Southeast Asia, I did a deployment to the Middle East, and my third one was a deployment to Helmand Province, Afghanistan. We were operating in Helmand Province in one of the districts. We were there for 3.5 months, and on December 9th in 2011, my life changed. We woke up early, did some final preparation to go on a patrol. In this patrol, we'd be walking around one of the villages and engaging the people, talking to the people, really getting them to trust us and trust the Afghan soldiers that we were with. And we were out there for about 5 hours. And towards the end of the patrol, we're wrapping it up and heading back to our patrol base when I stepped on an IED. I actually remember this experience very vividly. It was a very violent force that just picked me up and threw me to the ground. I didn't know what had happened because I was dazed, but my ears were ringing. I felt a wetness actually on my left leg. I didn't feel pain, and slowly I was becoming aware of what happened. I realized that I'm in Afghanistan, realized my ears are ringing, I realized that I'm bleeding, not in pain, and that's when I put it all together, and I knew that I had triggered that IED. What happened next, it's a hard thing to remember, but at the same time, I'm kind of grateful because the men on the ground on my team and the Marines that were around us, everyone just went into action, saving my life, and through them getting me out of there, calling in a helicopter and getting me to surgery, to safety. Another Marine triggered an IED. He was injured. Another Marine had a brain injury from the explosions. So this bad day just got worse and got worse. And 17 minutes after my injury, the helicopter landed. 7-minute flight from where we were to a surgical facility, and within 40 minutes, I was into surgery. I woke up in a hospital. I looked down and I'm missing my right leg below the knee and bandages all over my left leg and my arm, and I was in pretty bad shape, but I was alive.
So Eric McElvenny lost his leg below the knee, and one of the gentlemen in the military who visited him in the hospital said, so how quickly are you going to be able to get out there? The mentality, that military mentality of you got to get back into life, you got to get back into sport. And so Eric McElvenny lost his leg in December, was fitted with a prosthetic in February, did a sprint triathlon in the spring, and the following September did the Super Frog half Ironman, which is in the sand. And then the following October, he went to Kona and did the Ironman World Championship with his hero, a guy named Heinz Ward, who was a Super Bowl MVP. So the whole key for Eric was getting back into sport and getting back into sport quickly.
I felt like I lost a little bit of identity. I've always loved sports. I grew up playing sports, being active in the Marine Corps, just, always running, lifting, just an active lifestyle, and a little bit of a fear of the unknown. I didn't know if I was going to still have that, but quickly I recognized that, wow, I'm the same person. I still have this passion for sports, for competition, and in my head, I wanted to challenge myself with the hardest thing that I could think of, and that's at that time it was that Ironman. I chose that Ironman not because I thought I was going to be able to do it, because I thought that there was a chance I wasn't going to be able to do it, and I wanted a challenge, and I wanted to push myself, and I think in this challenge and in this journey, I've definitely grown, and I've become better. I've become more mature, and I think I've become more resilient.
The sport, it's not so much about the Paralympics or the Ironman, it's that journey. It's realizing that I'm 22, 23, 25 years old, and I've lost a body part. My social group is gone. I'm out of the military. Those were my brothers and sisters, and I'm not with them anymore. You need something in your life. And for Eric, it became sport, a sport that he had never done before. Doing triathlon was foreign to him, but he's realized that it's taken him to a level he never would have reached before.
Whilst Eric was injured, the Challenged Athlete Foundation entered his life. It's an organisation co-founded by Bob Babbitt to help physically challenged people find their place in sport. With their help, Eric was encouraged and able to keep sport in his life.
And what CAF has done for Eric and for all of our military folks through Operation Rebound is, one, you give them hope, you give them mentoring, you give them a social group. So when Eric McElvenny was injured, he'd never been a triathlete, never really been much of a runner. He was a ball sport guy. And all of a sudden, he's coming out, we're bringing him out to our San Diego Triathlon Challenge in Oceanside, and he's meeting different challenged athletes. Major David Roselle, who became the first soldier to lose a leg in battle, get a prosthetic leg, and go back into battle, lead his men. Those were role models for Eric McElvenny. So Eric comes out, San Diego Triathlon Challenge, does part of it, then realizes I can do the swim, bike, and run. I think at this point he's done 9 or 10 full Ironman races. He did the SOS triathlon. He's done so many different things, and what CF has provided for him is that piece of equipment. He needs a prosthetic leg to do what he wants to do for running or for triathlon, and he needs support maybe to get to different events. What we try to do at CAF is give people the ability to do whatever they want. So if they need training expenses, coaching expenses, a piece of equipment, a new bike, that's what we're here for, and that's what we do every day.
I love goals. I have so many goals. So a big goal of mine right now is in the Ironman distance to become the fastest amputee to run an Ironman. And right now there's two. Paul Martin, who is an amazing athlete, has run I believe 10:09 is his fastest. And then Rivaldo Martins, a Brazilian, ran a 9:57, and my fastest is a 10:23. So it's a goal, and it's so cool. And this past year, I got to meet both of them and tell them how inspiring they are to me. Like, they've inspired me to go after something that, when I said that at first, people thought it was an impossible thing. And it's like, no, these guys do it. Like, that's what I want to do. So that's one of my goals. Another one that's kind of just jumped in there is in the Paralympics. There is para-triathlon, and it was in Rio was the first year, and now in Japan in 2020, it's my goal to make the USA team, to go out there and to I don't want to just go out there. I want to win a medal, and I hope it's a gold one. But it's new and it's different, going from distance down to a short course race, and I love it. I love again a challenge, and that's kind of my goal right now. It's what my eyes are on, and I'll come back to the Ironman after that, I think.
The future for Eric is limitless. I mean, the nice thing is that Eric is a dad. He coaches soccer, he coaches Little League. He does anything he wants to do. And the other thing that Eric does, and he probably doesn't even realize it, is he's a role model. For when anybody comes back from Iraq, Afghanistan, or from a motorcycle accident and is injured, the first person I connect them with is Eric, because they need a mentor. And Eric is perfect at that. He's able to show people the path he already took, and that's it's a huge part of what we do with both CAF and with Operation Rebound is once you've been helped, you have an obligation to help the next person. And it's an obligation that Eric embraces 1,000%. He wants to make sure that no matter what somebody needs, he's going to be there to help them find it.